Hi, welcome to Lewis. My name is Kathy Bruss. I'm the Assistant Director for Graduate and Adult Financial Aid. And I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of the financial aid process. So education really does pay. You can see from this chart from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. It shows the median weekly income listed out by degree versus the unemployment rate. So the higher the degree, obviously the higher weekly income and the lower unemployment rate. So the first step in applying for financial aid is to fill out the free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA, and that can be filled out at fafsa.ed.gov. So you always want to be sure you're on the .gov website. Once you're on that site, you're going to need to create an FSID and password. And this is what you're going to use as your login and password for all the government websites, student aid websites. So if you filled out the FAFSA recently, you would have already had this done. But if it's been a while, you'll have to create this first. After you fill out that FAFSA, Lewis University will get that electronically and put together an award letter for you. The types of aid that you're eligible for will vary by degree. So if this is your first bachelor's degree, you may be eligible to receive some of the need-based awards. The federal need-based award would be the federal Pell Grant. If you live in the state of Illinois, you may qualify for the state of Illinois MAP grant. And then besides those two, everyone that applies will be eligible for any of the federal loans, whether it's subsidized or unsubsidized or a combination of both. The second, if you already have a bachelor's degree and are going for a second bachelor's, you're only going to be eligible for the loans, the subsidized and or the unsubsidized. At the graduate level, it's just the federal unsubsidized loan that's awarded through FAFSA. So if you've already attended university or college, you'd want to check how much you've borrowed so far, because there is a lifetime limit on loans. So if you're a dependent undergrad student, meaning that you're 24 or under, or not married, or not in any military service, you can borrow up to $31,000 in your lifetime. If you're an independent student, so either 24 or older, married, or serving in our military, you can borrow up to $57,500. At the graduate level, that jumps up to $138,500. The best place to look for your loan information, if you don't already have that, if you have borrowed, is the National Student Loan Database System. So it's nslds.ed.gov. And you're going to use your FSID and password to log into that site. The current interest rates, which are good between July 1st, 2019 through July 1st of 2020, are for subsidized and unsubsidized loans for undergraduates are at 4.53%. The subsidized loan is a need-based loan, so it depends on your estimated family contribution on the FAFSA as to what you would qualify for. But the subsidized loan has no interest while you're in school. The unsubsidized loan does accrue interest from the time it disperses to Lewis. At the graduate level, the unsubsidized loan interest rate is at 6.08%, and the plus loans, whether it's a Parent Plus loan or a Graduate Plus loan, is currently at 7.08%. Some other resources to help you finance your education are employer tuition reimbursement, which if your employer offers some tuition benefits, Lewis gives a generous 6-week deferral for payment. So you would just fill out a form, your employer would verify that you have these benefits, and then our business office would defer your payment for 6 weeks after the class ends. And that gives you time to get your grades, submit them to your employer, and get that money from your employer to pay your bill. We also have a lot of partnerships. So there's employer discount programs, and all those are available on lewisu.edu. If you have graduated from Lewis previously, you may be eligible for the frequent flyer discount, and that's a 20% discount on tuition for your entire degree. Lewis also works with Veterans Benefits. We're a proud partner in the Yellow Ribbon GI Educational Enhancement Program, which allows qualified post 9/11 veterans to enroll in more than 100 approved education programs here at Lewis, tuition free. So to determine your chapter eligibility, you'll want to call 188 GI Bill and speak with a veteran benefits counselor. So be sure to request your certificate of eligibility because you'll need this to give to Lewis. And that's going to verify what benefits you're eligible for. I have savings account on here, so I don't advocate everybody wiping out their savings to pay for school, but it is a good resource that a lot of people don't think about because right now your savings account isn't earning a whole lot of interest, but when you're borrowing loans, you're paying more interest than you're making on your savings account. So it may be a way to supplement some of the cost. You can also go through a private lender. So we have a private lender list on our website. And basically, those are just any lenders that offer private educational loans. Grad assistantships are another way if you're going into a graduate program. Any positions that are available at Lewis are posted on the Human Resources website under the employment at all of our job postings. So you can check that if you're going into a graduate program. And then Grad Plus loans are also a way to supplement if you need additional funding as a graduate student. Some basic financial aid borrowing tips. This is obvious, but I'm going to say it. The less you borrow, the less you have to repay. So that goes to if you can pay some of it and borrow some of it, that will keep your loans down to a minimum. The total student loan debt should be less than your starting annual salary after graduation. So and you can look that up on the Department of Labor statistics of the salaries of your projected degree or vocation. And then, base that on when you're borrowing so you're not over borrowing to get your degree. This is probably the most important thing. Use your loans only for educational expenses. So not for your everyday food and clothes and gas. Your your federal loans or private loans can supplement some of your living expenses if needed, but that shouldn't be the main draw from your loans. It should be only for educational expenses. Some repayment terminology that's important to know is deferment. That is if you're still enrolled in school or if you're re-enrolling in school, as long as you're half-time, your loans will go back into deferment. So you can't stop paying on your loans while you're in school. Forbearance, this is if you are paying back your loans and you have some type of a hardship, always contact your loan servicer to see if you can get into some kind of forbearance program. And this will delay. You do have to prove a hardship, but it'll delay your paying back your loan. So it gives you a little break. But that would only be for your federal loans, not for private loans. The standard repayment plan for federal loans is 10 years. There are income-driven repayment plans, which goes beyond the 10 years. But the longer you draw out repaying your loans back, the more interest you're going to be paying back. And there are some public service loan forgiveness programs. So that's always something to check with your loan servicer on after you graduate. So education is an investment in your future earnings, and you're worth it. Please feel free to give me a call if you have any specific questions or email me at any time. So thank you.